We're here in Nauvoo, Illinois, and behind me you can see the beautiful rebuilt Nauvoo temple. And part of the reason why we came here is to explore a little bit about the final theological revelations given to the prophet Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith had already had revealed to him certain things about the afterlife, and how people, even if they had passed away, can still enter into covenants with God and secure their eternal glory. But what Joseph Smith was worried about wasn't just eternal life, but what that life was going to be like and what would make it worth living. The relationships that make life meaningful down here on earth didn't need to end when we die. And even the most sacred relationships, even a marriage relationship, could continue and endure into the eternities due to the powers that were restored during the restoration of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So for the next few minutes, we're going to explore a little bit about these teachings surrounding eternal marriage, sealings, and how families can last forever. My name is Casey Griffiths, and I love learning about church history. Join me as we travel the world and explore the history of the Latter-day Saints. This is Restoration Revealed. The place that we're walking to right now is a recreation. It was built in 1980 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the founding of the church. It was built by Community of Christ. This is the spot where the red brick store of Joseph Smith was built. And so as Nauvoo expands, the red brick store becomes church headquarters, basically, because this is where Joseph Smith's office is that he would work in. This is where he receives the revelation that's now section 132 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Because the temple up on the bluff takes time to build, the red brick store is also where they do the first ordinances of the temple. And so they arrange the top of the red brick store to resemble the interior of the temple as closely as they can. And they bring people in here, and in May of 1842, Joseph Smith introduces the first endowments. I'm meeting my guest, Taunalyn Ford, a BYU professor with unique insight about the principle of eternal marriage and its historical significance in church history. Hi, Taunalyn.
Hello, Casey. How are you? So good to see you.
I'm
here,
excited.
Right?
I'm excited to be here.
Well, let me
Talk about eternal marriage and plural.
Right?
Marriage, so.
Exactly. Well, I just happened to have the key that was turned to me.
Nice.
In 18.
Oh, I get what you're doing there. Yeah.
Yes, come on in. This is actually the one. So here we go. This is the red brick store.
There's the red brick store.
Oh, it's just one of my favorite places.
And this is sort of like the nerve center of the church. This is like the church office building.
Yes,
of its
exactly.
day.
Exactly. This is Joseph Smith's store, right? And yeah. And you and I work a lot with the Community of Christ folks. And I know when they were the stewards over this, you could come in and get some good shopping.
Yeah, and it was
right?
an actual store back then. Now it's a historic site.
Exactly.
So not using it as a store anymore.
All right, Casey, so let's go upstairs into this space. As you know, this is a reconstruction of the building, right?
Yeah.
But as we go up, we are in that space where we're really ascending up to a temple. But I like to think we are literally in that space, right? This is where they were. And especially this room here, right?
And in terms of the marriage system here in Nauvoo, eternal marriage and plural marriage, this is a key location as well.
Right. Exactly.
This is where section 132 is given.
Yeah.
So.
This is such an amazing space. So right in here is the office, right? William Clayton was here. He was the secretary, and he gives us so much information. We get from Clayton the narrative that Hiram says, "Yeah, you can do. Just tell me. I'll go convince her." And Joseph says, "Hiram, you don't know Emma like I do."
In this office, Joseph sat down and he dictated the entire revelation while William Clayton wrote it out.
Right.
And then Hiram takes the revelation. He goes over to see Emma. And Joseph and William wait here. I guess they're carrying out other business while he does it.
Yeah.
And then Hiram comes back and says, "I've never received a more severe talking to in my life." And we should note that most of the revelation, like the first 30 verses, are just about the principles of eternal marriage.
Exactly.
But it also has a large section where he's talking to Joseph and he's talking to Emma. And We should note that in the Revelation, we're kind of being inserted into a multi-year conversation that's happening between Joseph and Haman. The revelations that are shared in the temple are so sacred that, most of them aren't in the Doctrine and Covenants. This is a place where those two worlds kind of meet.
Wow.
And so I think for a long time they were hesitant to share this revelation because the idea of eternal marriage and celestial marriage was so special that they didn't know if they wanted to talk about it.
There are passages in that are temple passages, right, that we do hear, and promises that are the most empowering, right?
Yeah.
That I love. I would never want to let go of this. Yeah. So it's like both things are going on at the same time. I think for most women in the church, and men too.
There's emotional highs and lows, right? Because
it's a compounding one.
Yeah. There's passages in this revelation that talk about the promises made to men and women of exaltation and what it means. And then there's other passages where they're dealing with the complexity of plural marriage, and it's really challenging. So
yeah. One of the Partridge sisters said, let's not be judges here. Yeah. Right? Let's tell the story. Let's tell the story. Let them speak. And then let them judge. And unfortunately, Joseph and Emma didn't speak about it. So
let's, Hiram takes the revelation from here, and where does he go to?
Then he takes it over to the Homestead.
Mm-hmm. Let's walk over there just so we can get a sense of the distance. How far he goes and everything. Yeah. So. So Hiram takes the revelation and he brings it here to the homestead where Emma is.
Right.
And they read it.
Yeah.
So what's Emma's reaction?
Oh, I have a hard time speaking for Emma, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have her words.
Yeah, and this is not only, it's her words filtered through Hiram, filtered through William Clayton.
Right.
Who's the person who remembers this whole incident.
Right. And she's the one that I want to have lunch with.
Yeah.
If I could ever have lunch with a historical figure.
Definitely.
But she is, we know that from things that are going on within the marriage, from what she does and from what she does say, right, later how she answers her sons, that this was not easy, right?
Yeah.
As it is not easy for anyone.
Yeah.
Today, it's not a simple thing. And this, I think, gets at her testimony of Joseph as a prophet, right? Not just a husband. So this is where I have tremendous respect, and the testimony that she had to her dying day of the prophetic calling of her husband.
Yeah, so she believes Joseph's a prophet. She has a solid testimony of the Book of Mormon, but this is really tough.
It is. It's very tough for her.
I mean, William Clayton said something like, Hiram told them he had the most severe talking to he'd ever received in his life.
Exactly.
And then William Clayton also records, and I think we should note that Joseph said, this is being filtered through William Clayton again.
Right, yeah.
I told you didn't know Emma as well as I did. And then he left to go and talk to her. But we should note that, after all this happens, Joseph goes over and they spend the day talking about it.
Right.
And she does eventually come to accept it, according to some historical sources, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's real tough.
Yeah. Sometimes my instant reaction is different than the reaction that I have after prayer and contemplation.
Yeah.
And sitting with something.
Yeah, it takes time.
Right. And I'm guessing that it's, from all indications, Joseph Smith was willing to sit with her pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of touching that he spent the rest of the day with her. And it seems like in his journal, there's indications that he spends the next couple of days trying to work through this with her. Some of the most common questions that I get are things like, hey, what kind of marriages were these? Like, is this the same kind of marriage that we think of marriages today as being, or what are the differences in the way they look at it?
In the global church, you've got joint families, you've got extended families, you've got different kinds of, we are very used to American nuclear family, right? So, but this takes us into this realm of these connections, right? So some of these connections were eternity only.
When you say eternity only, it's like They weren't intimate with each other.
No, they didn't have the right
yeah.
to be intimate with each other.
They
Yeah.
didn't act as husband and wife.
Had not act as husband and wife.
They were using sealing maybe differently than today, where we use it, where it has to do with a full
Yes.
marriage.
Yes. We think about it very much in this nuclear family, very loving relationship, right? But there were others. Joseph was given the task to bring that sealing power, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children to the fathers. He got the principle. He didn't get the application.
Yeah, he didn't get an instruction manual on how to do this.
Right. Nor do we.
Yeah.
Right? We expect him to be anything different than we are. I think when people are able to work through those, because Christ is at the center of their relationship, that is when beautiful connections are made.
Beautiful thing.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so the second question is, was it coercive? Were these types of relationships consensual, or were people forced to manipulate it into?
Yeah. You know, I have to turn to Brittany Chapman Nash on this one.
Yeah.
The practice could never have been sustained for half a century by compulsion, manipulation, or simple sexual desire. Those who set the foundation of the Latter-day Saint faith were not two-dimensional superheroes, as they are sometimes portrayed, but they were complex, strong, intelligent, full-bodied kingdom builders who were willing to leave loved ones, wealth, comfort, and native countries for what they believed to be true. The same willingness drove them to accept polygamy, a practice they accepted as a commandment of God instituted in their time for his unique purposes, right?
Sometimes these women are portrayed as like docile, like they didn't know how to say no to the men around them. But these are suffragettes. Like some of them go west and play a huge role in getting women the right to vote and getting education, and they become doctors and lawyers. And to say that they just went along with it without their consent is doing a huge disservice to them.
Yeah. I think we also have to think back to Joseph is seeing this as a restoration of all things, right? So he's going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's going back to the house of Israel. You see levirate marriages, right? Yeah. So this idea that if your brother dies, you're going to marry their wife so that they're protected, right?
That's familiar.
You even see that kind of in what Joseph did.
We always talk about Joseph's youngest wife, but we don't talk about his oldest wife, who was Fatty Young, who was Brigham Young's sister. And when the principle was explained to her, she kind of said, well, you know, I'm in my 50s, guys. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
But Joseph said, you can be sealed to me.
Right.
And I don't think it was any kind of physical or sexual thing. It was just he wanted her to be part of his family. He wanted her to have connection. And he wanted to connect, I think, with her family, too.
And that's another thing. These women wanted the respect that was given to a married woman, to a mother, right, in Zion, right? They wanted that opportunity, and they had that opportunity.
Even though they came from a complicated number of backgrounds themselves.
Right. Belinda Martin Pratt, who was married to Parley P. Pratt, who writes an amazing defense of polygamy in the end, right? She's a powerful woman. She left her alcoholic husband, abusive husband, and came. Marriage to a man of God who is committed to this kind of eternal relationship and covenant keeping, right? That's what she wants to be connected to.
Okay, so one more question.
Yeah.
How does dealing with kind of the complexity surrounding the introduction of eternal marriage and plural marriage and everything that went with it help you draw closer to Jesus Christ? Like, how has it helped your faith?
Yeah. You got to be willing to understand, like search and understand by reading what particularly the women wrote about this, right? And when you do that, I have received greater help for my own experiences in how I navigate what's asked of me, right? These are powerful witnesses of the restoration of the gospel.
And sometimes there's like an electric shock because you encounter something that's real different from what we do.
Often there is. And you have to sit with it and be willing to say, this is yucky. I don't like this. This is a human moment, right? But on the other side of that, there's some real beauty to it.
There is.
So.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Although Joseph Smith is often the focus of polygamy, several families in Nauvoo were asked to practice plural marriage. This was a trial of their faith. For example, Heber C. Kimball and his wife Vilate shared a deep love for each other and didn't want to practice polygamy. In addition, the time came when their daughter Helen would become Joseph Smith's youngest plural wife.
All right, so this is another place in Nauvoo that I think is crucial to the story.
Yeah,
We're standing in front of the Heber C. Kimball home.
Yeah.
This is where Heber and his wife Vilate Kimball lived, and they are incredible.
They're so important.
So amazing. Early converts. He's Brigham Young's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Heber is an original member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. Heber leads the first mission to England.
Right? And he was so devoted.
So devoted.
To the gospel.
Felt like he was the dumbest member of the Quorum of the 12, but he's the one that gets chosen to take the gospel to these other countries. Converts a ton of people, serves another mission to England, and Vilate is right with him. She is so supportive.
Yeah.
And just so encouraging, and they have a really wonderful marriage.
Yeah.
And yet, when Heber comes back from his second mission to England, the principles of eternal marriage and plural marriage are taught to him.
Yeah.
And the prophet says, Heber, the Lord's asked you to enter into this. And even more challenging, and you can't tell your wife.
Yeah.
And he walks around Nauvoo for a couple hours trying to figure out how to do this, comes home and sees Vilate and starts crying. And she runs over and embraces him and says, I know what you've been asked to do.
Yeah.
And I've also seen and vision all of our posterity that will come because of this. And I think you should do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where I can obey something. Yeah, that's great. But when it comes to the nitty gritty, it's a different story. And we get that from Vilate. And we even get it from her daughter, Helen. Her father introduces this principle to her. And initially, she can't imagine that this would be okay in any world, right? But she does consider herself as giving a sacrifice. But she also says, I didn't realize quite what I was doing, right? And she's young, the youngest, right? Still an eternity-only sealing, but it still affected her social life.
Yeah, it was tough.
She stays faithful to her testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And she articulates this as if what she did was worth the sacrifice.
Well, Taunalyn, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been so helpful, and I think it'll help a ton of people. We've got one more place we want to go to in this story. So thank you.
Fantastic.
And we'll see you back in Salt Lake.
Helen Mar Kimball's grave is located at the Salt Lake City Cemetery in Utah. Just like her difficult trek to the Rocky Mountains, Helen's acceptance of plural marriage was not easy. It came with real sacrifice and struggle. However, she bore powerful testimony that the principle was revealed by God and that it was true even though it was difficult to live. Her faith reminds us that the Lord's path often stretches us beyond what we think we can endure. But in that stretching comes growth, strength, and deeper trust in God. The legacy of her testimony encourages us to face our own challenges with faith, knowing that God can guide us through every trial, and that faith can be found in every footstep.